Hi, it's Laura from the Yarn Closet in Southern Arizona. It's Monday morning. We're in May of 2024. Let's do some yarn updates. So I finished that little purse that I was doing for Easter. I just got some more of the coffee that I really like. I only drink a cup or two a day, but I enjoy it. So I've got everything that's currently like out. I still have this whip, although the longer I have it, the more I feel like this is the wrong yarn for the project, because I feel like it'll be more blanket and less throw. I just don't think it's going to be the right length, and I think it's going to be a little bit not quite drapey enough. So I'm on a hold with that one. And that one's in actual closet hold. I have this lovely first bag I ever got from the Fat Squirrel. And then I have one of my Braille pins that says read on it. And inside here I have some stuff. Oh no, don't do that to me, baby. So we were at a school event on Saturday for a couple of hours. My daughter was in Lego League this year. It was their first year that they did Lego League STEM event, science and technology event. And it was pretty fun. The boys had a little bit more fun than they were expecting. They did a bunch of Star Wars trivia, which my son knew all the answers. So we got a couple little prizes. Let me slurp a little bit more in front of you. And I had been doing 2 at a time on this large 2 at a time heels. I don't like the yarn because I thought this was a better, I think it's a lower, I've used this yarn before and it doesn't knit up very tight. And so I'm not real thrilled. I don't think it's gonna last real long, but I'm gonna use it anyway. So I managed to finish this one. See, I leave the balls inside as I'm doing it. See, the ball is actually in the sock. So then it's easier to keep straight. So then this one just needs to be Kitchenered. And then I will set up another 2 at a time on here because it just gets done so much faster. So then I had these 2 separate. I just started doing this one, but it will take me twice as long to finish these separate than combined. I know, it's crazy. It doesn't seem like that's the way it should be, but that is the way it is. So I have that going on. And then I still have my mitten, and I haven't gotten anywhere on the other mitten. But I think I should do the other mitten soon. So I think I'm gonna finish my socks, and then I'm gonna jump into doing this other mitten so I can try to get one mitten that'll work for my daughter next year. And then I gotta do some fingerless gloves for being in the library next year because the heating and cooling in that building is questionable at best. I have made no additional progress on my rainbow piece. I think because I decided I didn't do enough garter on the start of it, and it's, as much as I like it. I don't use that purse as often, so then I don't pick this one up as much. So I can't decide what I should do. If I should just keep going and let this be the really slow project or what. I don't know. Sometimes I get frustrated with projects because they don't progress fast enough or they progress and stall out. And I would rather take a project that progresses and stalls out and put it in hold until I can grab it again a few months later and get some momentum. If you ever watch Rox Knits, she's from Minneapolis. I love me some Minnesotans. And she tends to work 3 weeks on one project, put it aside, 3 weeks on another project, put it aside. And that's how she keeps her interest. And she's pretty monogamous about it. So she doesn't have a lot of projects at once until she gets done. And so I'm thinking I need to be a little bit more diligent about that. I feel as though this is, I feel as though this is going to be bigger than I want it to be, even though I did gauge swatch and everything. But I also feel as though we're getting to that point where I should split for sleeves. I just need to call it and mark it so that I can get exactly lined up and make the split. The hard thing is really trying to figure out. See, I think I might need another couple of inches to really make it. Because there's the little slit, I have to make sure that up to where the slit starts covers my waistline. I might be a little bit more conscientious, and my idea of modest might be a little different than other people's. Part of my modesty is with the bad vision. If a t-shirt feels like it's too thin, I've got to be really conscientious that you can't see through it. That can be true in knits also. I found this last year because I've knitted a couple lightweight sweaters that I think I could wear, but I've come to realize that they're a little bit more see-through-y than I may have intended. And the problem is that my husband won't tell me because he doesn't know how to come up with the words. Well, you better, and yet that's just not going to happen. So I bought a couple thin layering long sleeve tops so I can use those still in the wintertime. And we'll just see. But honestly, folks, that's it. The problem is that right now, I want to start a long, thin, lightweight, not hot shawl. But I don't actually like wearing a lot of shawls because I like knitting the long triangle ones and then wrapping around. When I lived in the Midwest and so much of the year you would have something around your neck. But here, I don't really need that. I'm thinking about Susan B. Anderson's, it's one of her Wayet shells. It's one of her Yowzas. I think it's 2 or 4 that is in this kind of raglan. So it's a bit more of a triangle in the middle and then triangles on the side. So it hangs over, even though it's like a half circle. It hangs over more flatly and securely, where a lot of the like crescent-y shapes, if you do them really big, they just seem bulky or whatever. This one looks to me, because of that raglan shaping, it looks like it will hang flat over your back and hang over your shoulder pretty easily. And so then if you had like a little pin or something, that it would just sit and it wouldn't be constantly shifting. So I'm thinking about that, doing one of those. but it bothers me to have so much stuff in the go. So I'm going to try to figure out maybe this week if I can get plugged away on those socks and then work on the sweater for the next few weeks and then get the mitten done. So I'm probably not going in it all over the summer except 2 days that I'm helping to chaperone trips in June into Tucson with the groups from the middle school and my daughter's age, 3rd grade up. So we can go, and because I don't get to do stuff with my kids, just me. There always has to be a dad or a grandpa or a driver or something. And so it's going to be fun to be more all right, let's see if we can figure this out. I did this project with my daughter yesterday. But look, some of them fell off. I wonder how that happened. I think we have extras. I'm going to go check. Because I don't see anything here. Okay. That's a bummer. My God, and that was terrible. 9-year-old going on 16. This thing where they get into puberty at such a younger age is just tough. We've had some hormonal reactions this weekend, I'm pretty sure. Or she could be getting that weird head cold that seems pretty heavy. I had it for a bit of last week, although I feel I've still got some congestion that comes and goes, but I feel fine. An update on my parents. My mom finally tested negative yesterday, although she's been fine this whole time. And my dad is now a little bit worse than he was, even though he's testing negative. And that's bothering him, and that's frustrating for him. And so it's hard to kind of get him to understand negative just means you're not contagious. It doesn't mean that you're not symptomatic. And so that's frustrating, and it's frustrating for him, and everything kind of at this stage of the game frustrates him because he doesn't feel like he's popping back from any of it, nor would he. You've had cancer for 5 years. It's progressed now to other organs. This is what non-treatment in an elderly person looks like. It's this frustratingly slow decline. And I feel really bad for him because there's nothing I can do. I can't live his life. He feels really isolated, but you live in a facility that's 55 plus that has groups for everything. So you don't have to be isolated. You're the one who chooses to be isolated. It's your choice. And then you try to be, I'm fabulous to all your doctors and everybody, but you're not, because that's not consistent throughout. The snapping at people and the whatever. We know you're not fabulous. We know you're dealing with isolation and depression, and I can't fix it for you. You're 86. It's what's happening. I love you. But you're the one over all these years who've said, I don't have the patience for children. I don't have the patience for all this stuff. I don't live in a loud household. Sure, when I had a toddler, but I haven't been there in years. It's not this crazy thing. And I've had a house on and off all these years that I've offered where there's mother-in-law-ish place for him to be. And it's just frustrating. And I don't know what to do at this stage of the game because there's nothing more that I can do. If you call me because you've got questions and then I answer them, but you don't like the answers, don't bite my heart off. You know, I love you, but I can't change this for you. I'm taking it as a learning lesson for what I need to prepare for in my own journey. And it helps to give me energy to do the things every day that I do that I don't always want to do. I don't always like this different way of eating that I've had to adopt since I became menopausal, perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal now. But I've really seen a huge benefit. I'm now up to my yearly average for steps is 4,800 a day. I try to do 4,000 to 4,800 before I go to school in the mornings. That's my goal, because I figure if I can do 4,800 with the dog throughout the day, I'll get over that 5,000. And yet there have been plenty of days since I've been at school with these projects that we've been doing where I've done 10,000 or more, or 8,000 or more. And that's really helped push me over. But I know that next year, when we're not doing quite the same kind of projects where we're having to take all the books off the shelf and come back and forth and back and forth, it'll be different. But I'm hoping to kind of keep those numbers up. As unfun as it can be to have a diet that you're focused on to this extent, I see the benefits. My clothes fit me better. I haven't been to the chiropractor for going on 3 months. And with the vibration plate and the regular exercise and added stretches and stuff, I really haven't needed it. There have been a few days where my hips kind of gone out of joint, but within a few days of stretching and dealing with it, I get it back. Maybe it's not as great as it was, but in this day and age when the finances are so crazy, it's ticked my husband off. We only go grocery shopping twice a month now. But if we can go grocery shopping twice a month and only spend $500 a trip instead of $300 a trip 4 times a month, we're saving money because of the added costs of car insurance for another driver and gas and just the increased cost in food. And the kids have all survived. They've survived knowing, hey, this is the last apple. You need to eat some bananas, eat some bananas before you eat all these apples because the bananas will go bad first. And letting them know that, oh, you're out of that cereal. You just have to eat this other one. I don't feel always great about it, saying no to them. Nobody wants to say no to their kids, especially when it comes to like food. But when there's other options, kids nowadays just get what they want so much. And I'm just as at fault with that as any other parent or teacher or whatever. And there's this mentality with them, well, if we've had a conversation about this, then why aren't we both getting our way? Almost direct quote. Because having a conversation about something doesn't mean that you're going to get your way about it. Sometimes you just have to not get your way. And that's okay. You'll survive. Although I am grateful that I'm at this stage in life. I love where my kids are at with school. My son is finished as of today, so he is now senior. He only has 1 year left. And then he's going to enroll in community college. And it's so crazy to see him as such a young man. Because he's on the spectrum, because he has Asperger's, I can see ways that he masks more now than he used to when he was littler. And this is not a popular belief, but I'm proud of him. Here's the deal. I mask a lot. I mask a lot of my blind stuff. I always have. And it's exhausting. So I completely understand where he's at, and I understand the downside. But the upside is, once you learn how to do that, you can pick and choose the situations you utilize that in. He will get further career-wise if he learns to successfully mask. And then also, he's learning to, when he comes home from a situation where he's masked pretty heavily, he's learning more self-care. And that's the part that we do not live in an accepting world. I don't care if you want it to be or not. You can't go to work as a 6'3" man and tippy-toe around and doodly-woodly woo and think that you're going to get to any level of management in anything other than some crazy tech field or something if you have some kind of unique skill that you are just a master at. If you're an average autistic person who's not a master at something, you have to work within the society that you're in, and you have to be able to understand the consequences. Being autistic or not, you have to, especially for someone that's what they used to call high functioning, you have to understand the give and take of things. I remember a counselor talking to me and Mac's husband about this. And, I know you use all your skills to do this stuff that you do at work, but you have to figure out how to also give to your family and communicate to your family when you need space and when you can give and whatever. Because it's not fair that you just put all of your energy over here and that they don't get any of the good. And it makes me really, really proud to see him mask in choice. I can tell when he chooses to, and I can tell when he chooses not to. The thing on Saturday, he wore earplugs. He totally geeked out, but it was loud because there's all these little kids, and so he wore the earplugs, but he geeked out. He had fun. He did not need as much repair time afterwards because of that. There was another experience at lunch that made him need some extra repair time. So we've talked about that, and we're working on that. And and we kind of keep a list of, and we kind of switch priorities as to where our focus wants to be. And I think it's good to teach kids that you have to do that. That life isn't just about, I get everything, now I'm here, I got it all. Life is about this constant shifting of priorities and choices. And I talk to you about it because I don't have anybody else to talk to about it. My husband doesn't like to hear about it. He doesn't even like to see me in the parenting mode. He thinks I parent too much. Well, I think kids need to be parented in a way that allows them to be a part of it and to understand some of it. He also explains everything that he talks about to the nth degree. I don't think that's entirely necessary. So we both have our things, and I think we need to learn that, to respect that about each other, and it's okay to talk about it, acknowledge it, and say it. That's what I think. So my hair was really crappy this morning. My daughter goes into the bathroom and she's like, "What's the powder on the floor?" I'm like, "It's the hair powder. It's the dry shampoo because it was a bit too greasy this morning. But now it's kind of shiny, but not too greasy. It's not that bad, but I'm going to have to take a shower. So do I wait and do one with the child this evening to help her really shampoo her hair? Because we're now at that season where she gets, like, it's gritty when you do this to shampoo her because she's outside more than I am. And, grosses me out. It is so weird to raise your children in an entirely different environment than you were raised in, because I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how the general mentality is so vastly different. It's hard. But we do what we do, and this is where I'm at, and this is where it's going to be. And I've come to accept that and know that in the long run it'll be easier for me, and they'll still have options as they grow up, and you never know. Families very rarely stay all together and in one spot. But I'm having a lovely day that's only supposed to be about 75, which is unheard of in early May. So look with your heart first, not your eyes. Think about your knits. Come up with a summer plan. And if you don't get there and you have a summer that's just not as productive, that's okay. It's okay to have other areas that are productive. And sometimes it's just downtime and self-care. So, love you guys.